Let's talk about morning ritual now. Hi, I'm Les Raymond with the Mindful Movement. Thanks for joining me today for another mindful tip. Today's tip is a follow-up on ritual. So the other week we talked about having like an evening ritual focused primarily to prepare for sleep and to really improve our chances of high quality sleep and nourishing sleep. And today we're going to talk more of the morning ritual and just the benefits of having practices. Remember, practices become us. We're basically the sum of our practices. So having a routine morning practice that really nourishes the body, prepares you for the day, and there's a lot of different tools you could use for this. There's some things that I think are really valuable to implement in a morning practice. I'm going to go over a couple of them today, and there's no perfect answer for this. There's a lot of things that you could do to get you started, but there's some, I think, just crucial components that have a lot of value. So I'll touch on some of those today. One is really just getting in the habit of waking up at the same time. So if you listen to the books written by people that dedicate a lot of time in studying sleep and how it interacts with our biology, that seems to be something consistent across the board. Just the value from a health perspective of being in that routine of getting up at the same time. So, if you can implement that, then it's worth doing so. One thing that I think is ideal to do early in the morning is to get some exposure to light. And depending on where you live, this could be more challenging based on how much light you get, based on what time of year and where you are in the world. But some people would argue that light, and some people make a really convincing argument that light could be considered like the fourth macronutrient. So you have fats and carbohydrates and protein, and then light. So we have evolved over a long time with this relationship with the sun and this light exposure. And it definitely interacts with our biology. So the cells in our body, they speak a language of light, they understand it, and there's rhythms. We've evolved with like this rhythm, these cycles, and we could reference it as our circadian rhythm. So, it's very important at night to really reduce certain light exposures to promote good sleep. Well, during the day, and especially in the morning, it's really important to get light. And throughout the day, to get as much light as you can while maintaining balance. So the sun, like sunlight, can catch a bad rep sometimes because when it's out of balance, it can kill you. The dose makes the poison. A little bit of sunlight's really good for you. If you get too much, you could get skin cancer. So you really want to get as much as you can without having harm. And that could be different for different people based on skin types and genetics. So, you want to get light and not too much. And we all probably have some experience as adults of kind of knowing where that balance point is. But in general, I think most people, because of this artificial environments we spend so much time in, generally we don't get enough light. And there's a lot of benefits in getting more light. When people suffer from like seasonal affective disorder, it's basically from a lack of light. So if you ever find yourself low on mood, in a 5-minute walk in sunshine, you'll notice it changes your mood. You'll notice the powerful effect of light. But from a circadian rhythm standpoint, there's a lot of value in setting that early in the day. So soon after you wake up, as soon as it's convenient enough, try to get outside and let the light hit you. Doesn't have to be a long time, just a little bit. What I like to do is kind of combine some modalities. I'm a big fan of of earthing and grounding. I think there's definitely a connection we have with this earth, and studies have shown that the earth has a certain electrical charge that kind of balances out some of the charge that we have. The earth is negatively charged, and we will build up a positive charge. We'll see this sometimes in, as we build static electricity, and we might get a shock if we touch something. And when a positive and negative charge come together, they balance out. So touching the earth is a very powerful effect. And there's some very interesting literature and studies done on what's going on inside the body, especially as it relates to inflammatory pathways when we are in contact with the earth. And that's something that you could, kill two birds, one stone. Wake up, if the sun's out, go out, stand barefoot on the ground for a few minutes and let the sun hit you. And you'll notice your mood change. You could even combine some type of breath practice. I think in the morning, having some type of breath practice, whether it's through your meditation practice or just, a few deep breaths, a great way to just set the tone and get the nervous system nice and settled so that you don't kind of get spun off by the mind into the day, but you kind of have to approach it with a sense of calmness and clarity. So personally, what I like to do is to combine all that. Stand outside, let the sun hit you, get your bare feet on the ground, and do a little bit of breath work. There's a lot of different styles of breath work that could be appropriate for the morning. If you find yourself generally a stressed out person and very sympathetic driven, then you could add the same type of relaxing breath work that you might do later in the day. You could also do that in the morning to just set a calm tone for the day. If you feel like you want more of an energizing start to your day, then breath work where there's a little bit more of an inhale focus, where you are driving oxygen into the body and kind of waking the body up, could be very powerful. And stay tuned, we'll put some new breathwork videos out to give you some ideas on how to do that. Most of the breath work that we talk about is usually kind of relaxation driven, because most of us just need more of that in our life. But there's also benefits for more sympathetic driven, where you're kind of waking yourself up and energizing yourself with your breath as opposed to really calming yourself down. And the morning could be a really appropriate place to do that. Also just thinking about, what you want to do for the day and have a little mental plan, or always, you can never go wrong with just connecting with gratitude and just taking a moment to remind yourself of a few things that you are grateful for in life, and that will usually get your mind in a very positive mood to start your day. Another good thing to add to your morning ritual, just be drinking a glass of water. In general, overnight while we're sleeping, we do still lose fluid, even though we're not very active. So it's pretty hard to wake up and not be, to some degree, dehydrated. Our body is critical to get water. I mean, if we just think of, the basic priorities, you could go about a month without food, a few days without water, and a few minutes without air. And that's a great way to just look at how to prioritize. Air is something we're always bringing in. We want to be masters of our breath for that. It's something that is a real staple of living. We're going to do it, 18, 20-ish thousand times a day. It's something you want to be very good at. Water is something that we're highly reliant on. Most of our body is made of water. And generally when you wake up, your cells are kind of waiting. Give me some water. So just having that glass of water before you even think, just get up, have a glass of water, and you'll notice 10 minutes later, you'll just feel a sense of nourishment. You'll feel a little bit better. You'll have a little bit more energy. So that's a useful addition to the morning routine. If you need some inspiration or like motivation to get up, some people definitely struggle. As humans, we're always, have this tendency to identify with what we're used to. So if you're not used to getting up early in the morning, it's very easy to call yourself not a morning person and make up some story. Of course, that's not true. You're just not practiced at waking up in the morning. I know I used to fall in that category. The book that Sarah put onto me that really inspired me to start more of a morning practice was The Miracle Morning by Elrod. I highly recommend you check it out if you want some inspiration. It's a very motivational book. It's outstanding. It's a entertaining read. It's a pretty quick read. Hal just seems like an amazing guy, great person to learn from. And it's just a great resource. So if you've never read that and you're looking to be more productive in the morning and you want some ideas, that's also a great resource to check out. And if you do read it, let us know what you think and if it was useful. And if you have any morning routines that you feel are really useful for you, then share in the comments and let the community know. Me personally, my go-tos: get up, let the sun hit my face, get my feet on the ground, have some water, take some deep breaths, might do a little stretching. We'll do a video soon too of just some basic morning stretches, something that you don't need to change for, you don't need any equipment, just something very basic to get the body moving, move a little lymph, and you'll notice just in a few minutes of that, you just feel just a little bit more dialed in and ready for your day. If you know anybody you think would enjoy this video, please share it. Of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and stay tuned for more. I hope you have a great day.